Yo, what's up? Welcome inside the opening line on a Friday. Through the week already. Corey and Benny right here on Guru Elite YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody for rocking with us all week long. Benny, what's going on with you, my man?
Not much. I was hanging out in the yard with the kids yesterday. We barbecued. It was a nice day. I was sweating. The beard was getting in the way, so figured I'd go with the fresh look. Memorial Day next weekend. Figured I shave today, let it grow in a little bit. It'll be good for next week.
We got summer Benny. We got the summer Benny look right here. You'll get winter Benny sometime after Labor Day. Got a lot of stuff to get into today. Got a big weekend of sports coming up. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Well, the Boston Bruins advanced last night. I was on the Hurricanes. They're a disgrace. There's no effort, no fight. You know what I'm saying? But I guess they did as good as they could against Boston. We'll talk about the basketball and But so what we got this weekend? We got the NBA, the NHL still has a series going on.
Yep.
We have
Major League Baseball.
We got Major League Baseball. Don't forget about that.
UFC on Saturday.
UFC. Where's UFC? Where's the UFC at this weekend?
You know what? I didn't start looking at it yet. That's usually my after Friday baseball lock thing.
Okay.
I start looking at that and then get my bets ready for Saturday. You got PGA this weekend. You got the Preakness this weekend.
That's right.
A bunch of soccer in Europe is kind of done already, but there's some soccer. I think German soccer, Italian.
You got MLS.
You're right. You still got MLS. I mean, that's your thing. You're the one who's been cleaning that up.
Amazing how that works. Update on the Tottenham ticket. I talked to a couple people yesterday. But I'm gonna let it ride. Like I'm gonna put a little something on the two other sides. For the most part, on the $25 ticket, let it ride. You know what I'm saying? Let it float. You know what I mean? Try to get, like I said, I still will play Liverpool and I still will play the draw. But putting $1,000 on Liverpool in the draw, it makes no sense.
No, you don't have to play the draw. There's no draw in Champions League.
No, you have to. 90 minutes.
Oh, is that the way they do it? That's so dumb. The
90-minute result.
All right, that's so stupid.
I have my bet is the 90-minute result.
All right, fair enough. Whatever.
I know that sucks, bro.
I know. It's like the one time when you could have gotten away with it, and yeah.
I know, but yeah, I had my bet is the 90-minute result. It's different ways that they handicap it and stuff like that. Like I said, that's 15 days from now, so. Come to some kind of consensus about that. But I'm going to go ahead. For the most part, I'm going to let it ride. I will sprinkle something on the other sides, though, not to walk away empty-handed. But we going for Tottenham in regular time. You know what I'm saying?
No, man. I want that ticket to cash for you, right? It's $1,100 for
$1,100.
25 into 1,100. That's good, man. That's a hell of a hit.
Yeah, that would be a big hit right there. It sure would. So here we go. I guess they was going to get me into soccer some kind of way. So now it has happened. Last night I was on Portland catching that 7.5, and I was on the Warriors money line, but I had the Warriors money line parlayed with the Carolina Hurricanes, so that didn't come through for me. But we did get the Portland plus 7.5. That was able to cut us and break us even for the night, Benny. Hey, you know what? The Warriors, like Steve Kerr said after the game, they stole that one.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. The best part about last night for me, Corey, was I was on Portland plus 7.5 before the game. And then in the middle of the third quarter, I think, I was able to get Golden State plus 6.5. So I had a 14-point middle last night that I was hoping for. So
lovely.
Yeah, I hit it. Both sides of it wound up paying off. So that was nice. Mo Harkless, again, almost before halftime, paying off his point prop that we talked about yesterday and his rebound assistant points prop. So that was good. The one bet that screwed me yesterday was I took Steph Curry over 4.5 threes, and he finished with 4. He had 4 in like the beginning of the third quarter. I was like, oh, this is a lock. And then the way they started playing him towards the end, where they weren't letting him shoot and they were fouling him a lot in those threes, he never got another one. So that was the one bet I lost yesterday, but it was a pretty good night actually.
Yeah, that's not bad. I thought I could have sworn he hit that fifth three. I'm looking at the stats right now. He did not hit that fifth three. C.J. McCollum, also a good game last night. Dame goes for 23. If you were on the Draymond Green triple-double, you missed that one by the 3 assists right there. Klay Thompson comes in with 24, half a point under his number. So For the most part, Kevon Looney with another big game last night for the Dubs. So they go up 2-0. I still think Portland has some fight, but this is a 5 or 6 game series.
It's a 5-game series.
Okay.
They're going to split. I mean, this is the way I'm looking at it. They split in Portland, and then Golden State takes Game 5 back home in Golden State.
Yeah, a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. They give them one. They'll lose one of these next 2, and then they'll win it at
home. What else do we have? I did a draft last night, Benny, right? I did a FFWC best ball draft. Little $35 draft and hold joint. Scott Atkins sent me an invite, told me to hop in the joint, whatever. Some of the regulars are in there. So it's really a way to start looking at what some of the big-time high-stakes players are going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And right off the rip, I saw something that happened right off the jump, and I was like, okay, now it's like the first round of a boxing match and you get punched in the face.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, now we're rolling with the big dogs. Time to wake up. Pick 1-1 of the draft last night, Benny. Alvin Kamara. It's not crazy at all. He has the backfield to himself now. He may have the offense to himself now.
I mean, if that is the case, then yeah, that's, we saw him at the beginning of the year last year when there was no Mark Ingram, right? I mean, the guy was an absolute stud.
Yep.
My question is, you think he holds up doing that for 16 games now? Because we've never –
I think it's worth the risk.
Oh, I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's crazy. But 1-1, huh?
1-1. Kamara 1-1, McCaffrey 1-2, Zeke 1, Barkley 1-3, Zeke 1-4.
Yeah, I mean, again, all 4 guys. What do those 4 guys that you mentioned, with possible exception of Zeke, have in common? They all catch a lot of passes.
Catch the football out the backfield. The difference with Zeke is he may not have, even though he did catch over 70 balls last year, Zeke is just such a dominant runner behind a great offensive line that should be improved this year. Zeke in a contract year also, so I expect big things from him. So that was like the only real thing I pulled. I had the 6th pick in the draft. I started with Odell Beckham in round 1. I came back in the 2nd round, and I took Dalvin Cook. In the 3rd round, I hopped on Damian Williams. Damian Williams there in the 3rd round was amazing to me last night. I think I came back in the 4th, and I must have jumped on Robert Woods. We talked about those Rams wide receivers, Benny. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. You on those guys, right?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the biggest problem I have with those guys, though, is, like, to me, they're all, like, they don't have a wide receiver 1 because they spread it around to everybody. So, to me, they're all like wide receiver 2s. Like, I wouldn't want Robert Wood or Cooper Kupp as, like, my number 1 wide receiver on the team. But
yeah.
I'm fine with starting whichever one of them I wind up getting, every week as a wide receiver 2 or 3.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree with you on that one. I don't think neither one is a wide receiver 1, but both of them definitely in other conversations. Some more interesting names from last night. Todd Gurley goes with the 2nd pick of the 2nd round.
People are really afraid about that.
It's that word arthritis. That word arthritic scares people. It really does.
Because it means that it's not like oh, I just need some rest and it's going away. It means it's there. It's there for the rest of the career and it's there for the rest of his life. Like that's that it's always going to be an injury concern with him. So I mean, listen, you know what you get with Gurley when he's healthy. When Gurley's healthy, he's an absolute stud. The problem is with like you said, with the arthritic knee and all that stuff, is he may never fully be healthy.
There you go, right there, and it's a shame because with one of the true superstar running backs, Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz both go in round 2. So you got 2 tight ends off the board there. Interesting, Marlon Mack was the 12th running back off the board.
You're not that high on Mack?
I have a theory, Benny, of I believe in you go to certain places to get certain things for your fantasy football teams.
I agree.
I don't go to Indianapolis to get running backs. I go to Indianapolis to get pass catchers. I go to Indianapolis for I go to Indianapolis for the quarterback, for the wide receiver, and for the tight ends.
I'll tell you what, I used to take Frank Gore when he was over there, but you were getting him like 6th, 7th round, so that's a different story.
He was like an RB2, the ageless wonder, Frank Gore.
Yeah, he was always my RB3. Because you get him in the 6th or 7th round, and you know, like, all right, well, if one of these guys gets hurt, I'm not going to be super happy about starting Frank Gore, but I can win games with Frank Gore.
Definitely can. That knows that. Yep.
You know? So, yeah, I mean, I still don't think he's going to get the passing down work, right? They had that kid Hines, who they liked last year, who they were throwing to, Naheem Hines. I don't know. I just don't see Marlon Mack as – who was he around? Who were the guys that he was drafted around? Like, running back wise.
Put it like this. Running back 11 was Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that's a big drop-off.
Running back 13 was Nick Chubb. I would take Nick Chubb.
I would take Chubb. Yeah, I would – Chubb, I think Chubb is more upside.
Running back 14 was Derrick Henry.
I don't know. I mean, I like the way he ended last season, but he's always – I mean, he has the backfield to himself now too, no?
Yes, Henry does. Nah, I think somebody will be there. I'll give you a quick rundown. Mark Ingram was RB 15. I had Damian Williams as RB 16. Fournette was RB 17. Sony Michel was RB 18. And then Aaron Jones was RB 19. Devontae Freeman was RB 20.
I would take 16 to 20 probably. Like, there's some guys in that list that I think you can compare to Mac.
I think early, I believe it was the Combine, when it was in Indianapolis at the Combine, somebody asked Ballard and the crew out there in Indy about Marlon Mack, and they replied that they think that he can be a feature back. And I think that quote right there is what's driving this Marlon Mack love. I'm not paying that price for the second round price of Marlon Mack. That's all I'm saying on that one right there. The quarterbacks are winning such. Pat Mahomes, Andrew Luck is now kind of locked into that second quarterback off the board. Deshaun Watson is the third quarterback off the board. Aaron Rodgers, the fourth quarterback to go off the board. Baker Mayfield, the fifth quarterback to go off the board. I see a lot of people talk about Baker Mayfield being the second quarterback. Is that too high for you and your take, Benny? Baker Mayfield over guys like Luck, Rodgers and Deshaun Watson, who has the running ability.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You mentioned the running ability. Like, I like that running ability with a guy like a Watson before I would go and take a quarter. But again, it's not like, I mean, Baker's athletic. Like, he's not a scrambler. He's not somebody who you're expecting to run for 100 yards ever. But, he's athletic enough where he's going to get out and get you some rushing yards. I don't know, man. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, Corey. I probably won't have any of those guys. That's not the way that I usually build.
Yeah, exactly. So, you'll have like Dak Prescott, somebody down the board, something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What do we got this weekend with the ponies, Benny?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's actually kind of weird with the Preakness. A lot of times with the Preakness, the favorite going into it is usually the horse that won the Derby, right? Because they're trying for the Triple Crown. Yeah. They want to do all that. They want to, they want to go down in history. Neither the winner of the Derby, the actual horse who crossed first and, maximum security, or the horse in Country House who wound up being the winner after the disqualification is running in this race. So, normally when you handicap the Preakness, you kind of look for the best horses coming out of the Derby. It's usually, 2 or 3 of them that finished up there towards the top. The best horse coming out of the Derby running in the Preakness is Improbable, who finished 5th in the Derby. So, I think our 4th after the, disqualification and all that stuff, whatever. He's going to go off as the 5-2 favorite. But I got to be honest, if there's ever a year where you're looking to beat a 5-2 favorite, like, this is probably the year. That's way too small a price for me to be interested in him. Now, he's the best horse in this race. Like, don't get me wrong. Improbable's the best horse. But as we saw in the Derby, the best horse doesn't always win. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in a horse race. At 5-2, I don't think there's enough value to take him. So, usually the horse that wins the Preakness is a horse that can get to the lead and stay on the lead because it's real tight turns over there and they don't have the long backstretch like they do at Churchill Downs or Belmont where they run the other 2 legs of the Triple Crown. So 2 horses I'm going to throw out for you there, Corey. Always Mining, the number 7 horse.
Okay.
12 races in his lifetime. He's won 7 of the 12 races he's ran in. So this is a horse who knows how to win. And his running style, if you look at the past performances, is he basically just puts his head down, goes to the front, and tells everybody else, catch me if you can.
All right.
The problem with this race is the horses who he's been doing that to haven't been able to catch him because they weren't as good as he is.
Yeah, they're not Preakness horses.
Yeah, they're not top of the class kind of horses. The horses he's running against today are. So this is the kind of horse, a lot like Maximum Security in a Derby, where he's going to go to the front and he's either going to go gate to wire and be in first the entire race and win it, or somebody is going to wind up challenging him and he's going to get tired and he's going to finish all the way up the track and last. So, definitely somebody to look at, the number 7. It definitely sets up for him here. This is a good racetrack for the style that he runs. But again, he's never proven it against this level of competition before. And, you could look like if I go and play basketball in the yard with my kids, I'm going to look like I'm a superstar. But then if you put me out there against, a professional basketball team, I'm going to be the worst guy out there. And that's kind of the thing with Always Mining is so far he's been beaten up on scrubs.
Yeah.
So we don't know if he can run with the big boys when he gets there. The other horse that I like a lot is called Another Twist of Fate. Okay. Now, this one actually has ran against,
was Another Twist of Fate in the Kentucky Derby?
No, he wasn't in the Derby, but he's ran against a lot of the horses that have been and has held his own. So when he was 2 years old, which is when horses start racing, he won 3 races in a row. Came back in his 3-year-old year. He lost 1 race by a neck. It was basically him and another horse neck and neck. So that's a winning race. So to me, that I count that as almost a win. Just so happens he ran into a horse that was as good, a little bit better than him. The next race he came out, he finished in second again by about a length, and he got boxed in on the inside where, the jockey was trying to get him out, but he didn't have room to run because there were other horses blocking him. Kind of like what happened with Maximum Security in the Derby, except, this time the horse didn't run into him. He just kind of kept him pinned on the rail. But he ran out and closed. After they crossed the finish line, he actually passed the horse that was ahead of him. So you could tell he still had more in the tank, which is a good thing because I want a horse that still has some more in the tank before he goes ahead and races today. So Another Twist of Fate, Always Mining are the 2 horses I think can win. And then you got to use Improbable if you're doing like an exactor or a trifecta because he is the best horse in the race. And then the horse that I think can bring people some money is the number 11 horse. His name is Laughing Fox. I don't think he can win, but he's one of those horses that has like a really high closing speed at the end of a race.
Okay.
And when you look at the numbers, basically if a horse can run an eighth of a mile, which is what they call a furlong, in 12 seconds, he's a fast horse. This is a horse that has closed up races running in under 12 seconds while passing a whole bunch of horses in a lot of his recent starts. So Laughing Fox is the one. This track doesn't set up for his style as well as Churchill or Belmont does, but he's the one horse that has insane closing speed outside of Improbable that could wind up running down some of these speed horses.
Now, do we play him? If we play him to place and show, or do we just play him to win, place, and show?
I mean, what I would do with basically, here's the way I'm going to play the race. So, I mean, this is basically what I wrote up in the article, but I'll throw out a freebie for whoever's out there listening.
I forgot the article's already out. I didn't see it this morning. My bad.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure if it's up. I sent it in early, but I don't know if they put it up yet. So to me, the 3 horses with a chance to win are the 7, the 12, and the 11. Right? So to me, the 12 is the best of the 3. If you're playing a trifecta, you have to use the 4 Improbable as well. But I like him better in like second or third. So what I'm going to do is I like the 7 and the 12 are the 2 speed horses. So I'm going to play a 12, 4, 11 trifecta. I'm going to play a 7, 4, 11. And then I'm going to play the 5 horses that I like are the 4, the 7, the 12, the 11, and the 13.
Okay.
To me, the 7 and the 12 are the 2 with the best chance to win. The 4 has the best chance of hitting the board in one of those 3 spots. And then, like I said, the 11 is going off at 20-1, Laughing Fox, which is why I'm including him because if you hit Improbable is going to be chalky. The speed horses are probably going to be a little bit chalky, like 8-1, 10-1, somewhere around there. Laughing Fox will probably go off at like 20 to 25-1. So if you have a trifecta with him included in there, that's going to be the thing that changes it from paying like $150 to paying like, $700-800.
And that is the Preakness this weekend. You can check that workout from Benny over at EliteSportsBetting.com as we get ready to try to make some money on the ponies. PGA Tour going on right now, or the PGA Championship out there at Bethpage Black, out there in Long Island, New York, shout out to Nassau County. I can tell you right now, Brooks Koepka, top of the leaderboard right now. He's at 135 on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Dustin Johnson at 550. Tommy Fleetwood at 1,200. Ricky Fowler, 1,800. Jordan Spieth at 2,000. Then my guy Patrick Cantlay is at 2,200. That's the way I'm gonna roll with Pat. I'm gonna throw a little something on Patrick Cantlay. I heard a couple of smart golf handicappers say he might be the way to go this weekend. Benny, are you gonna get in down on this PGA Championship?
Yeah, I mean, I actually made some bets last night on it, and one of them is working out really well this morning. So Kopka shot a 63 yesterday, which was 7 under par, which is really, really good.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he looked awesome. Danny Lee shot a -6 yesterday, and nobody else was more than 3 under par.
Wow.
So last night I actually put it was -165 for Brooks to continue to be the round 2 leader, right? So I put that on him, and I put a little on him at +150 yesterday as well. So far this morning, I turned it on right before when I was waiting for you to send me the invite to start the show. Danny Lee is already +4 today. So he's down to -2 and is already falling back to 3rd or 4th place, which means that you have Brooks Koepka, who hasn't even teed off yet, now basically has a 4-shot lead.
He's running away from him now.
Yeah, and he hasn't even played yet, like I said. So I got him at -165 last night. For him to be the round 2 leader is already down to -350 or something.
I'm looking at it right now, -350.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's got a 4-shot lead already going into today. So that's a good thing to do. Again, you got a lot of these other guys who are a couple shots behind him. If he goes out and shoots another like 3 or 4 under today, he's just going to have a commanding lead on everybody else. They're going to need to shoot. Someone's going to have to go out and shoot like back-to-back 62s or something to catch him, or he's going to have to go out and shoot 5 over par. And I don't know if you saw this.
He's +135 to win the tournament right now.
Yeah, like I said, I took him this morning or last night at +150. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I don't know if you saw this, but did you see his quote about how this was the easiest tournament for him to win?
No, what did he say?
He basically was like, listen, I think the majors are easier. He's like, because in the majors, they only invite like 150 or 160 people. He goes, half those guys can't play, so it doesn't matter. That only leaves like 75 guys left. He goes, up to 75 guys who could play, half of them can't play under pressure when they got somebody breathing down their neck or they'll fold on the weekend. He's like, so really I only got a handful of guys to worry about, and I feel like I'm playing better than all of them this week. And then he goes out and shoots a 63 to go 7 under and have a big lead on the rest of the field. So it's cool to talk shit if you can back it up. And he went out and backed it up.
He damn sure did. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're talking big trash like that. So that's what we got. We got that going on this weekend. So you want to hop in on that? Obviously, Elite Sports Betting got you covered over there. To my man Friday, Paulie, updating his odds and giving you his predictions as we go as we move throughout the course of the week. I guess when it comes to boxing this weekend, we got to find somebody to par Deontay Wilder with. The parlay.
What is the what's it? Was it like -1,000? What is it?
Yeah, -1,000.
I don't know. I mean, there's a couple guys in the UFC. Like I said, I haven't dug deep into the UFC yet, but there's a couple guys in UFC this week that I saw that were like -500, -700 too.
Yeah.
After I read Mad Lab's article and see what he says over there, maybe we can find 3 or 4. Could you put 3 or 4 of those -500, -700 guys together? You get +110.
I'm just trying to get the plus money, Benny. That's it.
You know what? That's my goal too. Mad Lab said it too about those UFC fights. I'll give you guys a little trick on those UFC fights. If you read Mad Lab's article, if you have, you subscribe to the site and you have Mad Lab's MMA thing, there'll be 2 or 3 fights in every card where he's just like, listen, the UFC is trying to set this guy up for a big fight down the road. They threw him like, a piece of red meat, some guy, kind of like WWF wrestling back in the day, where like, we're trying to make this next guy the next big thing. So we're going to throw him some like aging superstars falling off that he can just kind of beat up on. And there's 2 or 3 of those in every card. And if you just parlay those 2 or 3 together, they're usually like -300, -500, something like that. You can get to like +100, plus money, where you bet 100, you take the 3 that Mad Lab said are basically a lock, and you double your money real quick. So
that's all we're trying to do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to hit that lottery ticket every night, Benny. So I agree with you 100% on that. If you can, as long as you can get the plus money, go ahead and roll it out there. It's definitely worth a shot. NHL playoffs still going on this weekend, San Jose and St. Louis. So you want to get in on that. Got the information over there to Elite Fantasy also. And then UFC this weekend. I don't even see no names I know. So basically, has that covered.
Yeah. And listen, I know for a fact, Corey, that I have my strengths and my weaknesses, as do you. One of my strengths is not UFC handicapping. So I go to Mad Lab knows what the hell he's talking about, and he's made me a lot of money in the last year and a half or so. So don't try, like you said, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to be a hero. Just go to the guy who actually knows what the hell he's talking about and listen to what he says.
That's it. That's it right there. Benny, you got any prop bets you're looking at for the night?
Yeah, I mean, I actually got a couple of them here. So I'm going to stick with the Giannis 12.5 rebounds.
Might as well. Yep.
It's minus 112. I just feel like that's 12.5 rebounds minus 112 for a guy that in 4 games against this team this year, he has 19 rebounds, 18 rebounds. What did he finish last game with? 14? 14 rebounds. The one game he didn't go over 12.5. He only played 27 minutes, went for 19 and 9, and sat out the whole fourth quarter. So, if he would have played the fourth quarter, you figure he could get a couple more rebounds, and he gets up there. So, minus 112 on Giannis, 12.5 rebounds is one I like. Here's something interesting, Corey, because it makes me like a lot of these Toronto Raptors props. The Toronto Raptors used an 8-man rotation in that first game against Milwaukee. You got 40 minutes from Lowry. You got over 40 minutes. You got 40 minutes basically from Lowry, Gasol, Kawhi Leonard, and Pascal Siakam. Danny Green played 35 minutes. And the only other 3 guys that played, you got 10 minutes from Norman Powell. You got 13 minutes from Fred VanVleet. You got 17 minutes from Serge Ibaka. So the way I'm looking at this is, if this is the way that Toronto's going to go, they're going to shorten their rotation down to 8 guys. They're going to play those starters, again, exclude Danny Green. If they're going to play those other starters 40 minutes, you have like Marc Gasol at 7.5 rebounds. Marc Gasol playing 40 minutes is going over 7.5 rebounds.
No doubt.
Kyle Lowry, again, Lowry shot 66% last game, scored 30 points. Lowry is not going to shoot 66% every game. But the over-under on points for him is 14.5 at minus 112. So, like, even if you put him back down to a 40%, a normal 40% shooting rate,
you get that.
He can still get over 14 points. And again, playing 40 minutes, you know what I mean? So, really, if we think that Toronto is going to stick with, the short rotation and the starters playing basically as many minutes as they can handle and getting a couple-minute breather here and there, the Lowry 14.5 points I like, the Gasol 7.5 rebounds I like. You could even start looking at like the Lowry assist prop. I don't want to do the scoring on this team really goes through 3 guys, right? It's Kawhi, it's Pascal Siakam, and it's Kyle Lowry, because Green is only going to hit a couple shots, and Gasol is not a guy that's going to score a lot of points. So
I noticed last game they were talking about Danny Green. They were talking about how Nick Nurse was telling him he needs to be more aggressive and needs to look to shoot more. You think that's something that he'll look into, or you just think it's not in his game to be that guy?
I mean, he's going to take open shots, right? Like, Danny Green is not the guy who's going to create shots for himself.
His point prop is 9.5.
Yeah, Danny Green is a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he does. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, 3-and-D guys are great. Like, every team needs them.
You need it, yeah.
But he's not creating for himself. If you look at this team, like, Lowry can take the ball to the basket, create for himself. Kawhi Leonard can take the ball to the basket, create for himself. Pascal Siakam a little bit can create for himself. Marc Gasol is not creating shots for himself unless he's down in the post. And Danny Green is going to hit open jump shots in the corner. So what you really need is guys like Siakam and Kawhi and Lowry to go to the basket, draw Danny Green's man, and kick it out, because that's how Danny Green's going to get his points. So, again, he played 35 minutes. That's a lot of time. He didn't really do much in those 35 minutes, though. So, really what you're banking on right now is, does Danny Green knock down a bunch of threes? And I bet you can get a Danny Green 3-point prop at like 1.5 or 2.5 for probably better odds than you can on the 10 points.
Danny Green made threes over 2.5 at plus 112.
Right. And then what is he for the 9.5 points or whatever?
The 9.5 points was Danny Green's 9.5 points was minus 110.
So that's what I'm saying. You want to take minus 110 on him hitting 3 threes?
Exactly. 3 threes is 9 points.
That's how he's going to get there if he gets there. So if you're going to take a bet, take the plus money bet on the 3-pointers made as opposed to the 9 overall points.
No doubt about that right there. So that one will be going down on the list. Some of the prop bets that you can get in for this weekend. Don't forget, tomorrow night, then you'll have the Dubs game 3 in Portland. The Trailblazers are a 2.5-point favorite in that one. I have to look at that one tomorrow. I won't have no information on that one. I don't think you saw the handicap on that yet either, have you, Benny?
Well, like I said, I expect Portland to win one of these two games. Going back to Portland, I don't expect them to go down 3-0. You know, listen, the NBA playoffs, man, it comes down.
I didn't expect the Carolina Hurricanes to go down 3-0.
Yeah, but I don't know crap about hockey, so I can't even make an analogy right now. I don't even know if they should have or shouldn't have been. But listen, I mean, I think those guys are going to come out. I think Dame's going to have a good game at home. You know, you always go with the adage that role players play better at home too. So, I mean, listen, they should have won game 2 in Golden State. I mean, you know, Golden State won because Golden State does what they do and they came back. But really, that should have been a Portland win right there. So, I don't know if I want to touch that one. I will say this, though. You're getting plus money on the Golden State Warriors during a playoff run. That doesn't happen all that often, even on the
Yeah, you're right there at plus 114. You got to take that. I mean, like, you can still, like, listen, you can figure out a way to try to hit both. Whatever the case, you got to put something on Golden State at plus 114 because you may not see that again until game 3 of the NBA Finals. Well, no, game 1 of the NBA Finals because
Milwaukee had the better record. Most likely, Milwaukee had the better record. If it's Milwaukee, yeah.
Toronto fans, Raptor fans, please don't come after me. I do not need that smoke right there. Anything else we got going on, Benny, this weekend before we get out of here?
I think we pretty much hit on all the things I'm looking at. Like I said, I'm looking for Preakness on Saturday, and then I'll have some UFC Saturday night. Tonight, I'm just kind of looking forward to this basketball game. So that's where most of my money's concentrated.
There you go right there. Big piece of chicken. I'm going to give it to Steph Curry once again, coming through, putting down a big game, having an excellent second half, pushing those Golden State Warriors, the Dubs, to a victory last night. What you got, Benny?
I'm going to give it to Kevon Looney. Basically – you know, he played really, really well for them last night. He was doing a lot of big rebounding. I mean, listen, all his baskets basically come from standing under the basket and somebody else drawing his man, and then they just kind of lay it up for him right there at the basket. But, hey, you still need somebody to be tall and athletic enough to go up and get it and put it into the basket from, 5 feet away. Like, I know my 5'7" ass ain't doing it. So, he gets the props for doing that. Played good defense yesterday, rebounded for them well. And we always give it to all the stars in that team. You gotta give a shout out to the role players because yesterday the role that he played was the reason why they won that game.
Kevon Looney gets a big piece of chicken, the opening line, part of the Elite Fantasy Sports Network. Corey and Benny, don't forget subscribe. I can tell you that this program will be going to the home pages of all 3 sites at some time soon, and they are definitely working on a way to get some live interaction going. My main man, Benny Ricciardi, Corey Parson, Fantasy Executive. Have a good weekend. We'll be back next week.